So in today's lecture we'll see the different types of constructors. So types of constructors. So in our previous lectures we have just seen that what is a constructor. So constructor is basically a special member function that will be invoked as soon as you create the object. So that's why it has given the name constructor. So it is completely you can say correlated to the object. So the constructor is, you can say, it is correlated to an object because it works for an object. Okay, and now we have to see that there how many types of constructors are there. So the different types of constructors are, the number one is a default constructor. Okay, a default constructor. So this we are talking about C++. So a default constructor. Second is a parameterized constructor. Okay, this is a parameterized constructor. And the third is copy constructor. Okay, copy constructor. So there are basically three types of constructors that we'll be focusing on in this particular tutorial. So now we have to shift our focus on the default constructor because we will deal each of these constructors one by one. So the first is the default constructor. Okay, that is very important because it is the basis of the constructors. Default constructor. So in order to understand the concept of default constructor, we will have to create a small program. Okay, so if I just create a class and name it dummy, okay, and inside this class what I want to create, I just create, let us suppose two variables, or you can say data members A and B, and I just close this class. Okay, I haven't created any special member function, or I haven't created, you can say, any member function of this class. Okay, and if I just create main, and inside main if I want to create an object. Okay, so if I want to create an object of this type dummy dm and tries to compile this program, then what will happen? So most of you will think that the program will not be compiled, okay, or it will show some errors because there is no member function. So it is not like that. Okay, there is no difference will there will be no difference in this program, either the member function is present or not, because our logic is not related to that particular member function. Okay, we are just seeing that yes, this program will be successfully compiled. Okay, this program will be compiled successfully. Okay, and what is happening basically, as soon as the object is being created, okay, though this program will not result in any output, okay, there will be no output in the screen because we haven't initialized these variables. Okay, we haven't created any function to display the values, but yes, we can compile this program. Okay, and as soon as this object is created, as soon as this object is created, the compiler will invoke. Okay, now the compiler will invoke, it is now the responsibility of the compiler. Compiler will invoke an implicit default constructor. Okay, an implicit default constructor. So here there is no constructor that is being visible to you, or in the past programs that we have created, okay, we have seen that we haven't created any constructors because we are just learning this topic right now. Okay, so in the programs of classes and objects, you might have seen that you are not creating any special member function in your program. Though your program is working, it is not showing any error. Similarly, in this case also, your program is working, okay, it is not showing any error because in the background or in the abstract mode, what is happening, the compiler is taking the responsibility of invoking a default constructor. Okay, and as soon as the object is created, this default constructor will be automatically invoked by the compiler. Okay, so here you don't have to worry that okay, what will happen, will there be any error or not. Okay, it is not your task, it is the responsibility of the compiler. Okay, and the second is, okay, this default constructor can be said as the implicit default constructor. Okay, so we can just categorize the default constructor. Okay, so again what we will do, we will just categorize this default constructor into two. Okay, so this default constructor can be categorized into an implicit, okay, an implicit default constructor, and the second one is the explicit default constructor, or it is also known as user defined. Okay, it is also known as user defined default constructor. Okay, you can name it this also. Okay, so there are two types of default constructors. First, we have just seen that it is an implicit default constructor, and second is explicit or user defined default constructor. So this implicit default constructor will not be visible to you. Okay, it will be working in a background. Okay, and this constructor is not having, okay, any arguments, and it is not having any body. Okay, it is an empty, you can say it is an empty constructor, it is an empty member function. Okay, so we'll just see, okay, that how it is created. So if we see in the background, the compiler, okay, for implicit, if I just want to show you, for implicit default constructor, okay, so in background, okay, or in, you can say in abstract mode, that is not visible to you, okay, or you are not very much interested that what is the logic behind this, the compiler must have created a constructor of type this dummy. The name of the constructor is same as that of a class. Okay, because it is a function, there is no return type. Okay, it is not returning anything, and it is not having any body, and it is not having any arguments. So the constructor having no arguments or no parameters, okay, and no body, an empty constructor and no body, this type of constructor or this type of implicit default constructor must have been invoked by the compiler, and this constructor is not visible to you. Okay, so this was the constructor that was invoked when an object of type dummy was created. Okay, so this is an implicit default constructor. The two things that you have to remember is the default constructors are the constructors that contains no arguments. Okay, that takes no arguments. This is very important. Okay, and it can have, and it cannot have any body. Okay, so it may or may not have any body. Okay, so this is not a very big task, but if it is an implicit default constructor that is not created by the user, then there is a condition that it must be an empty body constructor, means it doesn't have any body. So the second is now the explicit constructor. The second is the explicit, okay, the explicit default constructor. So we will be more focusing on this explicit default constructor because we will be writing constructors in our program. Okay, so now how we will create this, again we will just see it with the help of a program. So if I just create a class, again we just create a class dummy. Okay, for example, we create a class dummy, and inside this class, okay, so in our previous lectures we have discussed that constructors are the special member functions and they must be declared in the public section of the class. Okay, so we'll just write public, okay, and we will just define a constructor here. Okay, so what will be the definition of the constructor? Okay, you must be knowing by right now, okay, that what will be the definition. So it must have the same name as that of a class, that is the rule number 1. Okay, so this is the constructor. This is not having any return type, so there will be no return type, and if this is a default constructor, then it won't take any arguments. Okay, so this is a default constructor. Now it may or it may not have any body, but we are more interested in showing the output to the user, that how this constructor will be invoked. So we will just write certain message inside this body. So we'll just write cout, okay, this is small c, cout we'll just write default constructor. Okay, default constructor created by the user. We will just write as default constructor by the user. Okay, by the user. So it means that this is a explicit, you can say, type of constructor we have created. So this is the name of the constructor is dummy. Okay, so now we have just created this. Okay, we have just defined this constructor. So now what we will do, we'll just close this class. Okay, the class definition will be over, and now we will just create a main. So if we create a main, then what we'll write inside this main, we'll just write, or we'll just create an object of type dummy. Okay, so this is the only part that we have to write. We don't have to specifically call this constructor with the help of a dot operator, because it won't work here. Compiler will show an error, because as per the definition of the constructor is invoked automatically as soon as you create the object, because it is for the object. It is an instance member function. Okay, it is an instance, you can say. It is created as soon as you are creating the object, it is invoking. That's why we have given the name constructor to it, to construct. So as soon as this object is created, the compiler will check. Now the compiler will check, is there any constructor that has been defined by the user. If compiler founds yes, there is a constructor in our program that has been defined by the user, then the call will be transferred to that particular constructor. Then the call will be transferred to this particular constructor, and the constructor definition will work, and we will just see the output that this default constructor by the user, or the explicit constructor by the user, has successfully run. But if for example this constructor was not being present here, then the compiler must have executed or invoked an implicit default constructor containing no body and no arguments. And we didn't see any output on the screen, because there are no mechanisms to see, because we haven't written anything inside this. Or it is an empty constructor. So in this way, we can see that the working of the default constructor in an implicit or in explicit way takes place. So I'll just ask the question. For example, some of you might be thinking that, for example, if we again create an object, for example, if we create dm1, so what will happen? If we create an object again dm1, so what will happen here? Now there are two objects, one is dm and other is dm1. So in this case, the constructor will be invoked two times. So the constructor will be invoked two times. First, the constructor will be invoked when this particular object is created, so the compiler will invoke, the control will be given to this constructor special member function, and for the first object the default constructor will be, that is the explicitly defined default constructor, will be invoked, and the output will be default constructor by the user. Again, if we create an object dm1, then again for this object also this default constructor will be invoked, and the output will be default constructor by the user. So if there are n objects we created, so for n objects, n time for n objects, this line you have to remember. It means that for each object, separately this constructor is invoking. For dm, constructor is invoking. For dm1, this default constructor is invoking. For dm2, this is invoking. And if there are n objects, then n for each object, this constructor will be invoked each time. So this you have to remember. And the main logic is, if the compiler founds that you have, this you have to remember, if the compiler founds, or if you can say, if the user, if the important point to be discussed, if the user has explicitly, okay, if the user has explicitly defined, okay, a constructor, okay, if a user has explicitly defined a constructor, then the compiler won't won't invoke its default constructor. This is very important. Okay, so if you have created any constructor of any type, either it is an explicit default constructor, either it is a parameterized constructor, either it is a copy constructor, then the compiler won't be invoking its implicit default constructor. This you have to remember, because now it has found that yes, there is some constructor in your program and the call must be transferred to that particular constructor. Okay, so this we will see with the help of a program in the subsequent lectures. So I hope now this is clear to you, okay, that there are three types of constructors. Okay, the default constructor, parameterized, copy, and again the default constructor, which is our topic of concern today, is being further classified into an implicit default constructor and an explicit default constructor. In implicit default constructor, okay, we are not creating any constructor. The constructor is in hidden mode. Okay, it is present throughout the program. Okay, the user is not able to see it. It is the responsibility of the compiler to invoke it. Okay, it doesn't have any argument, it doesn't have any body. Okay, explicit default constructor means the user is creating the constructor. Okay, the constructor is having the same name as that of a class, no return type, no arguments. It may or it may not have any arguments. It is completely dependent upon the user. But if we want to see the output, then yes, we have to write certain message so that we can see the working of that particular constructor that we are creating. Okay, so this you have to remember. So if we want to create an object, then for each object, okay, the call will be given, the call will be transferred, or you can say the particular default constructor will be invoked. So if this is DM, so for this DM, this dummy will be invoking. This for this DM1, this dummy will be invoking, and we will be getting the desired output in this manner. So I hope now this is clear. And if the user has explicitly defined a constructor, then there will be no constructor that will be again invoked by the compiler. It means no implicit constructor call will be present in the program. This is very important. So we will see the implementation part in the subsequent lectures. Thanks.